Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Vihari.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees, welcome back to Books Are the Basis. We're having interviews with different senior devotees and talking about the importance of reading Srila Prabhupada's books and organized by the ISKCON Ministry of Education. And today we are very happy and honored to have with us His Holiness Bhakti Carudesna Swami Maharaj. Hare Krishna Maharaj.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Thank you.
Happy to be here with you.
Thanks.
It's an important interview.
Yeah, it's an important topic, and you're an important person, so we are happy to have you with us.
No, Srila Prabhupada is the most important person. So.
Yes, Srila Prabhupada is the most important person in the lives of all of us. That's true. But we are happy to have also devotees from West Africa with us to speak about this topic. I'd like to just give you a short introduction to the devotees. Maharaj came in touch with the devotees in the 80s as a college student and joined ISKCON in 1987, when he also received first initiation from His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. There in the place where he grew up in Côte d'Ivoire, that's French, right? That's in the West Africa. You also call it Ivory Coast, I think in English. Yeah. And so Maharaj then joined the movement, and later on in 1995, after Maharaj received second initiation, he took on the responsibility as temple president, served for many years in that role, also did Harinam, Sankirtan, book distribution, deity worship, and many other services. And then in the year 2002, Maharaj went to India, Mayapur, Vrindavan, for some further studies, Bhakti Shastri and other courses. And when Maharaj came back, Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj encouraged him to travel all around Africa and share his realizations, his knowledge. And since 2015, Maharaj entered the renounced order of life, Sannyas. And at the present, he also serves as the head of the regional council in Africa. He travels and teaches in different places like Togo, Benin, Ethiopia, Congo, France, India, Nigeria, Mauritius, many other places. And since 2020, Maharaj also serves as the initiating spiritual master in ISKCON. So it's our great honor to have you with us. Such a dedicated servant of Srila Prabhupada and His Holiness Bhakti Tirtha Maharaj. So let us start and hear from you about your journey, how you came in touch. We heard you were a student, college student. Do you remember what was the first book that you came in touch with, and how did it change your life?
Yeah. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Tirtha Swamintina Namaste Krishna Padaya Prabhupada Sritatmane Shri Gaura Karuna Sakti Bhakti Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamintina Namaste Sarvasudeve Gaura Vani Pracharne Nevasita Sonya Vadi Partharsatharne Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Garadhar Shivadari Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Mukam Karoti Vachanam Pangam Nagate Girim Kripadata Vande Shigurum Dinataranam. Yes, thank you very much, Prabhuji. Krishna Prema Rupa. That's all. Okay. Yes, as I said, this is a very important topic. The books of Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada mentioned that the books are basis. Okay. So my first encounter of Srila Prabhupada mission, ISKCON, was in 1987. I was a student college, but I was asking myself so many questions. And my first book, I met one devotee. They were on Sankirtan, on Harinam Sankirtan. So while I was going to college, and I met one of them, he was doing book distribution. So I approached the table, and I saw the books. The title was in French. It is the Solution pour un âge de fer. Okay, Solution pour un âge de fer. I think this, you can translate it as the science of self-realization. In English.
Science of self-realization, yes.
First book I read. So when I took the book, yeah, because I was having so many questions in my mind about the origin of life, who is God? Is God partial? Why so many inequalities in the world? So many questions like that. I have some some brothers, sisters were Christian, but they were always giving me some answers that were not very good for my understanding. So I was still hungry for more knowledge. So only 2 pages or 3 pages of that book cleared, like I was having like 60 questions in my mind. Only 3 pages, clear all my doubts. And one starting point that I understood that yes, God is the supreme, omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. But people might not understand his real position if the missing link, that is karma and reincarnation, is not explained and understood. Otherwise, people may think that God is not, he can just do whatever he wants, and some people are rich, some people are poor. Why? That's because we have karma and reincarnation. So that was the beginnings of my encounter of Srila Prabhupada book. Yeah.
I like how you expressed that you were hungry for.
Yeah. Hungry, yeah.
It's important to have a good appetite, and yeah, you were hungry for knowledge, so then you could really appreciate Prabhupada's message. Also interesting how you mentioned that if we don't have the concept of karma reincarnation, we might have difficulty to understand the personality, like God. People see, okay, God, who is God? Why this suffering takes place in this world? God must be a strange person, But yeah, it's an interesting point.
Yeah. Because without understanding this, we may think that God is just an ordinary human being, and it doesn't have any program and no plan, and anybody can just do whatever he wants. And no, the universe is controlled by someone. Just like a country, any country, that we have rules and regulations. Same way also, the universe is controlled by someone. So nobody cannot just do whatever he wants, and cannot do something and expect a different result. So that's what God is controlling everything. And because majority of people born in this west part of world, West Africa, Europe, okay, we are mostly Christian background or Muslim background. Especially those who have Christian background, they don't believe in karma and reincarnation. They don't accept it. Okay, so it is very difficult for them to understand the impartiality, of God. So the concept of karma and reincarnation, I can explain very well. Like we have a book, Srila Prabhupada book. One of the book of Srila Prabhupada is the science of reincarnation. There he gives a very simple example that 2 babies are born same day, different mother. One baby is in good condition, in a very good family. They have money, they have everything. The other baby is born in a very poor family. So what is the choice? Who made the choice in the first place? Why one is born in the poor country, family, the other one is born in the rich family? How is that? Because it's there, the Bible said that we are born once and we die once. After that, there is judgment. So sometimes I ask them, I challenge them. Supposing one baby is born, there's something called miscarriage. Some ladies, they're pregnant, and when they go to the hospital, the baby died the same day. So how are we going to judge this baby? Based on what? He has not done anything. Do we send him to hell? Do we send him to even planet? What do you do about this baby? It's not live even one day. So Srila Prabhupada books are very, 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 logic and very clear to understand. Yeah.
And that clear understanding of the presentation of knowledge, that convinced you and made you join afterwards the ashram? Yeah,
exactly. Convinced me. And I said, okay, wow, this is the place I must be. Yeah.
Yes. Wonderful. So, of course, you have been practicing for many years, and now, what would you feel is the importance of reading Prabhupada's books on a daily basis? Like, just in principle, we will talk about more details, but just to start with, why is it important to read regularly? What would you say?
Yeah. First of all, I would like to mention some few quotes, both from Srila Prabhupada and some other person who are not necessarily devotees. No, Srila Prabhupada said that there is nothing new to be said. Everything is in my book. Therefore, if you want to know me, read my books. And then another one, he said, until this world leaders read my books and take to this Vedic culture, what kind of civilization will they have? Dog race, horse race, like that. And after a few other quotes from other personalities who are not devotees. One from Jumpa Lahiri said, that is the thing about books. They let you travel without moving your feet. You travel without moving anywhere. Another one quote from Ray Bradbury said, you don't have to burn books to destroy culture. Just get people stop reading them. Stop reading, and you can destroy culture just by stop reading. But if you burn the books, can't do anything. But just stop people reading books, can destroy a whole culture. Another one says from Margaret Fuller, she said, today a reader, tomorrow a leader. You read today?
Reader, tomorrow leader.
Yeah. Today reader, tomorrow a leader. Very interesting. Yeah. So books and also the reading is the one of our Bhagavad Gita chapter 17, text 16. There he mentioned about the tapasya of the mind. The best way to control the disturbed mind is to focus on reading. By reading books, you focus all your senses in one subject, and that way mind can be completely, diverted into Krishna consciousness. So reading is very, very important. Is the tapasya the best way to control the mind? Yeah, so very, very important. Without reading, we can be in ISKCON, but without much progress, because we don't have reason to progress. We don't have reason to do whatever we are doing, because anything we do, there is a purpose behind. Okay, Sankirtan, book distribution, being vegetarian, Harinam, deity worship. There is a philosophy behind everything we do. If we don't read, then we become artificial and fanatic. Okay, so it's very important to read books, to know what we are doing, how to do it, when to do it, why, how, when, and what we are doing also.
So through reading, we understand our purpose, why we do what we do, and
exactly. Otherwise, we become just like ritualistic people, fanatic people. Yeah.
And it was an interesting point with, if you want to destroy a culture, just stop.
Yes.
Of course, we try to do the opposite. We try to distribute many books so that many people read.
Yeah. No need to burn Bhagavad Gita. No need to burn Quran and Bible. Just stop them reading. Then job is done.
So, in other words, if the Krishna conscious movements should go on for another 10,000 years, we better read, right? So that we can continue.
Otherwise, if we don't read, the movement can still exist, but with some kind of devotees, not very mature, not inspired, and a lot of cowards, criticizing and breaking principles. It's going to become like something ordinary.
Mundane religion or something.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay. Of course, you have been a traveling preacher. You have been traveling a lot. in many places, and you have seen the world. And when we read, we also change the way we look at the world, right? We speak of this Shastra Chakshu, that we start to see the world through different eyes. Would you like to explain or share some realization on what does it mean to really see the world?
Yes. Shastra Chakshu is a very important point. Seeing things according to the Shastras. Because actually, everything happening now in this world is already mentioned in the Vedas, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, in terms of political system, COVID, degradation of culture, everything. The Srimad Bhagavatam already mentioned those things before. Yeah, so being, Shastra Chakshu means whatever we do it based on the Shastras. We have two types of intelligence. There is the academic intelligence that we are born with, but there is another intelligence that we can develop by reading Srila Prabhupada Books. That is called spiritual intelligence. Then that intelligence, you get it from books, from holy books, then your judgment is perfect. Otherwise, ordinary books are not reading at all. Anything we do is coming from our mind, and the mind is not necessarily, purified. So the best way to, to apply this Shastra Chakshu is to see that everything happening in this world is because it's already mentioned, and there is a way also to avoid. There is a way to live, because what do we call Vedas? Veda is like a manual of civilization, manual of life. If you want to do something, you have, like, for instance, you have a machine, a computer, and you don't read the manual. How can you operate? How can you operate that computer? Same thing also. This universe is like a very gigantic, very huge, computer, and we have to know how to press the buttons. Press the button. Otherwise, you can press the wrong button as explosion. So we have to know. Shastra Chakshu is very good, because people now are just see these wars happening, conflicts, unnecessary conflicts, and so many things happening. Because people, they do things based on their own imagination and selfish desires, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a very good analogy of the manual, that you better understand how it works, and
Yes.
it makes your life more, safe and successful.
Yeah.
Marsh, you also mentioned about you said, like, there is academic intelligence, but there is the spiritual intelligence. What would you say to devotees? Because sometimes devotees argue that, well, you emphasize reading is important, but I'm a simple person. I'm not so much academic. I'm not an intellectual person. I prefer to do some practical service. So that's why I'm not reading. I do some seva, I chant. Let the brahmanas study the books, but I'm not so intellectual. What would you tell to these kind of devotees?
Yeah, this kind of mentality. This goes on for long, and as I said earlier, at the point the devotion service will be stagnant. They will not have any tangible reason to do what they've been doing. And if you don't have a good reason to do what you have been doing, then the tendency is to stop doing that, or doing it in the wrong way. And that is called, seva parada. You are doing it, but in the wrong way. So they see, everyone has to develop the taste of reading Srila Prabhupada books. Everybody must read. If we don't have the taste to read ourselves, we can join the group and listen to Srila Prabhupada lectures. Then gradually the taste will come. Ruchi, the taste will come one day. Yeah. But saying that, okay, let me do my seva and let the Brahmana read. No. The Brahmana, they will advance. But those who are not reading, they cannot advance. Yeah. As I said, reading is like traveling inside. It's a travel within. Traveling inside for yourself. That travel there is no traffic, there is no accidents, very smooth travel. You get connected with so many holy people, to Krishna, to Srila Prabhupada, to saints. You know, for instance, if you take like a book Srimad Bhagavatam, there you meet, of course, Srila Prabhupada. You meet Sukadev Goswami is there. You meet Maitreya Rishi is there. You know? Many people are there. Great sages are there. This is called Sangha, real Sangha. You know, Sadhu Sangha. Yeah.
That's a nice way you phrased that. That reading is like traveling inside and then meeting all these great personalities.
Yeah.
That brings me to the next question that we also always talk, of course, in these interviews about. You already said when we read, we meet these personalities, and of course we also meet Srila Prabhupada, who is the author of these books. I mean, he wrote the commentaries, the Bhakti and the purports. So by reading these purports, we do associate with Prabhupada in some ways. Would you like to share your realizations on that point? What does it actually mean to meet Prabhupada in his books? Or maybe also a related question could be, what is the proper mentality for a devotee to actually access the Prabhupada's books, to make this experience, to actually meet Prabhupada?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You know, when we all do ISKCON disciple course, the question, fundamental question is there, and between the different of Bapu and Vani. Then the answer there is of course Vani. Srila Prabhupada Pranam, the second line is Namaste Saravasi Devi Gaura Vani. You know? Gaura Vani is the Vani of Gaura. So now ISKCON Prabhupada left many years ago, in 1977, right? Many years has passed, but ISKCON is getting stronger and stronger, and getting more and more spread everywhere. Why? Because of the Vani of Srila Prabhupada. Because the GBC, the devotees, senior devotees, sannyasis, gurus, they always try their best to keep the Srila Prabhupada Vani in the center. Okay. My realization is that devotees, we have more and more devotees, and devotees are together, and ISKCON is gaining more and more respect all over the world. Yes, because of the books of Srila Prabhupada. Universities, are accepting Srila Prabhupada books like that. So I think my realization is that we should not just stop reading. We should keep on reading, because Srila Prabhupada has something important a very role to play in the modern society with his books. Without that, no. Can you imagine 2 years ago? Yes, we faced this deadly situation of COVID. Why? If you look at the Shastra, well, all these things they happen because of human being try to live without being connected with the spiritual aspect of life. Yeah. So my relation is that yes, books, everything is there, and we have to be friend of those books, and everything will smooth, everything will perfect in our life.
Yeah. So, you said that Prabhupada, plays an important role. Obviously, I mean, Prabhupada played a very important role for all of us, like all the devotees. Yeah. But yeah, Prabhupada can play an important role for so many future generation of human beings, as long we keep his Vani in the center. Yeah, that's very beautifully put.
Yeah.
And our vision in the ISKCON Ministry of Education is that we hope, our desire is that one day Srila Prabhupada's books become the most read spiritual literatures in the world. Like that, all over the world, people will regard Prabhupada's book as the top literatures when it comes to spirituality. Of course, that's still a long way to go. And first, we will have to start in our own movement, right? That the devotees, they really take to reading Prabhupada's books more often. So what do you think, how would ISKCON be different? You know, if all the devotees, every devotee would actually read regularly Prabhupada's books, how will it affect the individual and the society as a whole? What do you think?
Yeah. Thank you. This is a good question. Srila Prabhupada always say that, well, I've done my part, and you read my books and cooperate. And people will see you, see me or see the movement through you, because you are all representative of ISKCON. A person, like an ambassador, when an ambassador is sent to another place, is taking the culture with him, and people will judge him judge the culture through the ambassador, right? So we are all one way or other, we are all ambassadors of Srila Prabhupada in different levels, different degrees. But how do we represent ISKCON? How? Good or bad? He said that there is we can have three types of Srila Prabhupada followers. Those who preserve Srila Prabhupada mission, those who develop or expand Srila Prabhupada mission, and those who destroy Srila Prabhupada mission. We can not only destroy Srila Prabhupada mission by not having good character. You go to preach and you are defeated by the opponent arguments, and by that way, if you start reading, then if you keep on reading, then we have more enthusiastic devotees, more nice cooperation among devotees, and it's the benefit of ISKCON is if ISKCON will keep on growing and growing and growing. We see very vibrant devotees, very nice devotees, like that. So and Srila Prabhupada mission will touch all corners. We have a duty, every town and every village. So we should not put barriers by our own character, bad character. Everywhere you go, people will say, yes, this is from ISKCON. Without being in ISKCON, you can attract them to come to in ISKCON. Because you read.
So you directly connect the reading and the development of character, actually.
Yes, of course, yes. No reading, we cannot develop good character, because if you don't know, you just use your mind and senses who are already polluted.
Yeah, that's and thank you for that picture of being an ambassador. We are all ambassadors, representing Srila Prabhupada. So better we give a good impression.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So so far we talked a bit about general, like the importance of reading and why is it important. And I think you made a lot of very valuable and powerful points on why we should read. Maybe Maharaj, you could share some advices on how to read, because sometimes devotees, they may they struggle, they maybe have a lack of time. How, for example, you're as a guru, a traveler, preacher, you must also be very busy. How do you ensure to have always enough time to read in your daily life? Yeah.
Yes, see, being a traveling preacher, it's like kind of automatic, because you are invited many places to give classes, give lectures, give seminars. So in that way, we are compelled to read. Otherwise, it's automatic, no?
Yeah.
But devotees in general, they need to make a plan. I think every temple must have a plan, a program. Okay, we have Mangalarti, we have Guru Puja, we have Bhogarati. Yes. So in the day, we can define a moment, a period, maybe 30 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that, when everybody must read and share realization, and also make a role star of giving Bhagavatam class or Bhagavad Gita classes. That way, everybody in the class, even non-initiated devotees also, they can also be given the opportunity to, give some classes. Because you are going to give class, you must, because other people are going to listen to you, they will ask you questions. So you must read something. Otherwise, yes, make a plan. Like that. They're not just doing service, but must read. Make a plan. Like for today, since you mentioned to me that we are going to have this interview, I've been making some research, no? I've been making some research. Okay.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I mean, I think that's an experience many of us have. As soon you're invited to teach or to preach, you turn to the book. You turn to the books, because what will you say? What will you say if you have not heard first?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a good exercise for everyone. Yeah. And do you have any specific advice for the devotees, how they can, I don't know, the way you study, the way you make notes, like how to improve the quality of the way we read or study Prabhupada's books?
Yeah, the main thing is to develop more and more interest and try to associate more with those who like reading. Yeah, otherwise we find many excuses not reading. Yeah, so we have to develop the taste more and more, as I said before, by listening to Srila Prabhupada lecture, to listening to classes. As we listen to classes, we wonder, hey, one day, if I have the opportunity to give class, what am I going to say? And that way, we become. Srila Prabhupada always say that you must read daily. For instance, you can read one chapter. If not possible, read one paragraph. If you cannot read one paragraph, at least one phrase, one sentence. If that's possible, at least one word. Just open and just one word and just go. Like that, gradually, we develop the taste of reading, develop the habits of reading every day.
Yeah, that's I think a very important point, like developing the habit. Because some devotees may say, I don't have time to read, but everyone has time to read for 5 minutes, right? Yeah. And if they do it every day, it will develop a taste. Let me read a little more, and then then it becomes 15 minutes, half an hour, and you end up reading an hour every day.
Yeah.
Of course, when you already touched on the topic of character building, like because when we read, when we absorb all this transcendental knowledge, of course we want to make sure that we also can apply it, and that's not such an easy step. Like there is theoretical knowledge, but then there is the application. Any advice from your side how to bring that knowledge that is there in the head into the heart? how to get that, from that gyan to vigyan. Of course, it's not a magical formula, but maybe still you can share some suggestions.
That's a good one. Yeah, good one. No, when we study the sastras, there is something called personal application and preaching application, and understanding and mood ignition, like that. Yeah. So
study aims. Yeah.
Yes, study aims. So it's very important to, as you said, to put what we read here, jnana and vijnana. We have the knowledge and how to apply it, because if you don't apply it, it's like you have eaten some food and it did not digest. Can create constipation, can create a lot of havoc in the stomach. So reading must put it into practice. By seeing senior devotees, by seeing sadhus doing, then we also can apply that. So in that way, what we read can have effect not only on ourselves, but also impacts on people around us. So it is reading develop good character. So our character must show. The more we read, better character we develop. Yeah.
I remember when I personally wanted to study Bhakti Shastri, my president at that time told me, no need. Those who study only become proud. So sometimes we see that. Of course, I later on I did my Bhakti Shastri at some point, but it took several years before I got the chance. Because sometimes we see that the devotees they study a lot, they read a lot and study, but then instead of developing the character, then pride is developed. Any suggestion how to avoid that? How to become knowledgeable, but at the same time remain humble?
Yes, you know, I have another quote from Srila Prabhupada. He says, in my books, the philosophy of Krishna consciousness is explained fully. So if there is anything which you don't understand, you simply have to read again and again. By reading daily, the knowledge will be revealed to you. And by this process, your spiritual life will develop. Yeah. So our spiritual life will be developed, and we will, when we get into that taste and habits, then we can't stop. Just keep on doing that. It becomes part of our life. No, developing habits or living one habit, one bad habit is not easy. But also, when we develop one habit, it's difficult also to abandon that habit. So it's a question of practice. By practicing daily. So then we can advance. We will see from ourselves that when we are not reading and when we are reading, we see the difference. It's different. You observe in a temple, in among devotees society, those who read, you can see clearly the character, and those who don't read, you clearly see the character. Very simple to notice.
That's an interesting. Yeah, I think also for ourselves, those days we have read, then there is a different consciousness is different, and I had also sometimes several days you don't get a chance to read. All of a sudden, some material desire come up in the mind more strong than otherwise. You understand? Oh, I have not read Bhagavatam for some days.
Yes. It's like a plant, no? The mind, this is the food for the mind also, and the senses. Yes, you just take bread, chapati, rice dal for the stomach. The mind also needs food. What is the food of the mind? Reading. We have to nourish the mind. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, for giving your valuable time and sharing all your wonderful realizations with us. I think we slowly can come to an end. Do you have any final words or some last message you would like to give to the devotees who have listened to this conversation?
Yeah. You see, very important reading Srila Prabhupada books, because if we don't read, we cannot preach. If we don't read, we cannot preach, because what are we going to preach? And also, we have a big challenge in the world now, this modern world, because it is the duty of devotees to defeat all opponent arguments. Mayavadism, philosophy, Mayavada philosophy, materialistic philosophies, because actually our ISKCON is completely opposed. One of the objective of Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON by Srila Prabhupada, he said, ISKCON objective is to expose the fault of materialism. Generally, people, they obey, they say they do Dhandavat to material culture.
Full Dhandavat, full surrender.
Yes, they surrender to materialistic culture. But even devotees who don't practice strongly or don't read, they have the tendency to be influenced by material culture. And also it can be defeated easily, by Mayavada philosophy. Srila Prabhupada warned us that to be careful if you go listen to a Mayavadi, just like drinking a milk that was touched by a snake, become poisonous. And to move from Kanista to Madhyam to Uttam, then must be responsible devotee by reading. Because it said that the Kanista cannot defeat argument. He's a devotee, but if you ask him, why are you vegetarian? You're going to lose vitamins, you're going to lose protein, then please stop that. Most of us, when we join, our parents, they tell us that if you don't eat meat, then you are going to lose so many things. But with knowledge, can defeat those arguments. Sometimes you go to preach and some people they'll tell you Shiva is God, Ganesh is God, many things like that. So how do we explain? How do you convince people if we ourselves we are not convinced? So we have like a proper soldiers. ISKCON is like a military camp. We are soldiers. We have guns. The books are guns. We have to shoot the guns, kill the enemies. Otherwise, they will invasion. They will not only destroy everyone else, and they will also invade ISKCON. Devotees will not read. They will become, a disturbance for ISKCON. So we have to do that. We have to be responsible to protect Srila Prabhupada's mission by reading, and we have strong conviction. Develop our faith very strongly. Then that way, nothing can shake our sadhana. We become very strong and fixed. We have to follow the Bhakti ladder, from Shraddha to Sadhusanga, like this, to Ruchi. Ruchi very important. Develop the taste. If we don't have taste in whatever we are doing, the tendency is to drop what we're doing. Yeah. The mind is like that. If the mind does not have new things, the mind has a tendency to stick to old things. And one day we go back to our previous life, materialistic life, because the mind does not have any option, no other option. What to do? Just go back to the old option. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Maharaj, emphasizing the importance of higher taste and also keeping Prabhupada's mission in the center, that if we want to really serve Prabhupada, then we do need to have that spiritual strength ourselves also.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Please stay connected for a moment. I will just end the recording here. It was wonderful to have your association. Thank you so much for sharing. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki
Prabhupada ki jai. Agora Premanande.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama